Greetings, welcome back. 5 Play Friday. We are here. We are looking at plays, looking at all the things. How many plays? 5 plays. Stick around. Greetings, welcome back to 5 Play Friday, the show where we break down all of the things so we can get better as basketball officials. Let's get started with our very first play. As we like to do, it's a you make the call play. What do you have on this play? All right, no call is the ruling on the play. Is this correct? Using National Federation of High School Basketball rules in the comments below. Put your ruling. Legal play, backcourt violation, or something else? And of course, stick around to the end of the show. We will review play number 1 in its entirety at the end of the show. And with that, let's take a look at play number 2. All right. Broke out one of my own plays, but I appreciate you joining today for 5 Play Friday. I'm Greg Austin with The Better Official. We craft video to help basketball officials get better. And one of the ways we do that is we look at plays and analyze all of the things so that we can get better together. All right, let's take a look now at what we have on this play. Ruling is illegal screen by the calling official. Is this the correct call? Was the try released prior to the foul itself? Would this be, should this goal have counted? Were we correct in canceling the goal? We are looking at all of the things. Let's break down this play here. So we got lead, rules, and illegal screen. Let's take a look at our screener on this play. Right, position as a crew, plays down the lane. Our lead is a little pinched. I don't know if we've just had a rotation on this play, but widens the look and is officiating the non-shooter action on this play. Of course, the shooter themselves would belong to the trail in this situation. Of course, we have a 26-point lead with 5 minutes to go in the game. Right, so basically we have a teammate of the shooter who boxes out a defender who is attempting to make a play, attempting to get to the three-point line and defend. So the judgment questions that come into play here are, is this incidental contact? If we took this matchup here, right, and let's brought it in, and this same action occurred here, would this be incidental contact? Is this incidental contact on this play? Right, our defender makes an effort, but is prevented from getting to the shooter by the illegal contact. I had hip contact on this play and canceled the goal. Very close. If we take a look, when the initial contact occurs, it's right there. Ball's still in the hand. That's super close. If somebody else on the crew comes in with information like that ball was out prior to the contact, right, then we would score that goal and handle the foul itself differently. In this instance, it's ruled a team control foul. Our official has been working hard on getting his team control foul mechanics down for high school games. Maybe emulating Chris Janish, frequent show contributor. Right. So, but in the end, we have a ruling of a team control foul prior to the release of the goal, canceling the score, end line throw into the opponent. Lots of questions about this play you can bring up in this situation. Always, though, time and score are factors. We do not want to miss any action, illegal actions by White in this situation. And to my mind, the action, even though the defender really had zero chance of getting to the shooter, they were attempting to do so. And the illegal contact needs to be addressed in this situation. So, in this situation, my choice was to put the ruling into the game. It's a great play for review in terms of coverage, what you're looking at, your awareness on plays, etc. If you were on the crew in this situation and you felt that the try had been released before the foul occurred, not necessarily the whistle, right? But you could come in and say, hey, that ball was released when your whistle was blown, and you could have that discussion as well. Would you be willing to work as a crew in that situation? But a great play scenario, right? And we're always analyzing our game videos so that we can get better as basketball officials. All right. So a close call, ruled an illegal screen, canceling the goal on that one. You may have something different. If you do, you can always put it down in the comments below. But let's move on and look at another play that I may have screwed up. Who knows? Let's take a look at play number 3. All right, this is a great who is officiating whom play, right? Center seaside drives always give us a tremendous opportunity to look at discipline of the crew and understanding crew dynamics. Who is officiating who on this play, right? Well, obviously, primary defender on a ball handler all the way to the basket, in this instance, would belong to the center. Who is officiating the player who swipes down from the side? Who is officiating the big in the lane who, does she create illegal contact either with the body or up top? Who is officiating whom? And then crew discipline. If we do have a double whistle, what do we want to do in that instance? This was relatively early in this game, beginning of the second period, and it's a double whistle scenario, right? And so as the center, as calling official here, I had the foul by the primary defender on the play, but my partner had a whistle as well. And what we want to do in this instance is recognize the double whistle, recognize what we feel happened first. But what we could have on this play, if we look at it, is maybe illegal contact on the swipe down. We just want to make sure that we both have the same play. In this instance, my language coming in is I've got 5 from behind. I believe it's black 5, right? I've got 5 from behind, right? And that happened first. And my partner may say, well, I've got the swipe down from the player from the outside. And would that be something that they would look at, a secondary defender outside their primary, right? If you look at seaside drives from the center to the basket, consistently there's going to be multiple defenders involved, and we have to be disciplined as a crew in how we attack these plays. And if we are analyzing our own game video, if we are new to analyzing our own game video, analyzing plays like this and say, what was I looking at? What would I have as lead? Do I want to have more patience? Right? Do I want to recognize maybe I came a little early? I could always get this later, right? If we pre-gamed this, we'd probably say, okay, look, seaside drive, I've got the primary defender all the way to the basket. If there's something on the front side that you feel that I cannot see, come get it. If we have an obvious foul, let's put the whistle on the play, right? That would be our pre-game discussion. Maybe as lead, we like, oh, I see the foul, I react to the foul, maybe I go early. Things happen, right? But what's really important to me on this play is recognizing that we have multiple whistles on the play, conferring to make sure that we have the right thing. And we're setting the groundwork for a play potentially later in the game where we may have fouls on different players, and we need to determine which happened first or which would be appropriate in this situation. So a great clip, for me to look at, analyzing all of the things. And like I say, if you are working a game and you want to do some video pregame, just do a seaside drive play, right? Because you're going to always have a triangle of defenders. Who is officiating whom? What kind of discipline do we want to have on the crew? What kind of information? And of course, always recognizing when we have a double whistle to confirm and affirm what the ruling will be on the play. Hey, a brief time out. Let me thank our tremendous show supporters who help fuel the broadcast. Let's take a look at who is up on the show supporter big board today. Jason Mays, Bill Brand, Richard Masterson, Jeffrey Jorgensen, and Gene Boglin. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? I'll put a link in the show notes below. I'll put one up above. And with that, let's take a look at our next play. All right, seaside drive. I consider this to be a seaside drive in that the lead is rotating. Similar, who's officiating whom? No call by the officials who had the primary coverage area on the play. Is this a trust your partner play, or is this an obvious foul that needs a whistle play, right? We, as a crew, prior to the game, we need to have a commitment to putting whistles on obvious fouls. Time and score comes into play here as well. Right? But all of the things, right? When we analyze our game video, this is a great play to look at who is officiating whom, what discipline do we have in our rotations, what we're looking at while we're rotating, what could we do to improve on the play, right? So our first reaction here is, when I look at my game video, is this player who caught the ball is moving from left to right. The reaction by the official, a little surprised by the basketball, it appears, but is to move in a similar fashion. What would we want to do as a habitual action? Step down to get the open look, right? So that doesn't occur on this play. And we don't see this frontside action, which there's illegal contact here by white number 2 on this play. Who could potentially see that illegal contact, right? We have a rotating player here who appears to be watching the ball action. There's no real competitive matchup here, but we do have a defender here who's left unofficiated, Now, again, we have a situation where we've got a swipe down by a player from the outside. Our lead official, what I notice on this play is our lead official is closing down to this spot. And I think everything would be enhanced here if we rotated further and closed down to this spot, right? If we mirrored the ball in this situation and got an outside in look, we'd be able to officiate both the swipe down here and the secondary defender. And if we're the center official on this play, what do we have? We have a non-competitive matchup or an ineffective matchup here. If we see the swipe down by the defender here, but we definitely have to have this player here, right? Is this illegal contact by our defender, right? That would be a judgment we need to make on this play. Our offensive player goes airborne here, and our defensive player is moving into that defender. That is illegal contact. A blocking foul should be ruled. The ball goes in the basket. Goal is scored. Lead. Cadence whistle comes in. Blocking. Score the goal. Right? Time and score are a factor on this play. We do not want to miss fouls by white in this situation. Right? A great play to look at. Again, what are we looking at? We're looking at habits and fundamentals, how they could be improved, right? Crew discipline, who is officiating whom, what's our commitment to put whistles on obvious fouls in the absence of whistles from players, from officials who have the primary coverage area on the play, right? Again, a seaside drive gives us an opportunity because it's complicated, right? It's complicated, and it forces us to look at all of our habits and fundamentals. Did we step down as we should have? Did we rotate completely as we should have? Did we recognize the rotation as center as we should have? Right? What could we improve, and how can we bring these habits and fundamentals into our own game so that we can all get better? Okay. We've had crew communication in previous plays. Let's look at this play and look at all the things. Let's take a look at play number 5. Sorry about that. All right, block charge play, 2 different rulings from the officials. What do we have on this play? Again, who is officiating whom comes into question, crew communication, all of the things, and in this instance, proper adjudication in this instance. If this occurs in your game, do you know how to handle this properly by rule, right? So it's a great play scenario. And we can look at all of the things and, who is officiating whom? Do we recognize a double whistle? Do we confirm and affirm that we have the same thing? Do we have discipline as an outside official in not showing what our call is, recognizing that leads tend to go quickly, etc.? all the habits and fundamentals, and then in the end, what is the proper adjudication of this play where one official rules a block, one official rules a charge, the ball goes in the basket, right? It's a tough situation to know. It's handled potentially differently at different rules, at different levels, something we have to be aware of. But let's look at all of the things on this play. Okay, so, right, our crew discusses the fact that they have different rulings on this play, but the out of that right, we get a head nod, and we are agreeing that we are going to go with the block on this play. Two officials confer. They have different rulings on the play, and they come out with a common ruling or deferring to one of the officials who may or may not, this may or may not be in their primary coverage area, and go with a blocking foul and awarding a single free throw to our thrower. Let's look at all the things. Who is officiating whom on this play? Right? Obviously, our trail has primary defender. We've got a secondary defender here. We've got a secondary defender here. Who is officiating whom? This leads primary coverage area. This would be their defender. This would be the center's defender. If you had, and you could possibly have this player sinking in for a swipe action here that we'd want our center to get as well. Player comes from the center's primary, enters the lead's primary coverage area, has 2 feet on the floor facing the opponent. You could say they possibly began their backward movement early, possibly, but had legal guarding position on the play. One official indicates a charge. One official indicates a block. What would be the correct adjudication of this play? Let's go there as well. In a situation where you have a block ruled and a charge ruled, it is a double foul by rule. Again, this is just at the start of the second period in a game, right? We're here at the end of the season. We always want to take our situations and say, how could we handle this by rule? If this was a high scrutiny environment where one team is going to go home after this game and one team is going to advance in a playoff situation, in a league championship, in a section championship, in a state championship, right? What is the correct adjudication in this situation? What do we have? How do we recognize what we have, right? So in this situation, when one official rules a charge and one official rules a block, it is a double foul by rule using National Federation of High School Basketball rules. When there is a double foul, does the ball become dead? No, it does not. If the ball passes through the basket, it is to be scored. It would be a scored goal. Our point of interruption would be a scored goal by white, right? In a double foul situation, we report both fouls and resume at the point of interruption. No free throws can be attempted, right? But our first reaction is, well, there was a charge, so we can't score a goal because a charge causes the ball to become dead, etc. But the fact that it is in conjunction with a blocking foul being ruled by in the same player matchup between two players, it is to be considered a double foul, no longer a charge, and no longer does it cause the ball to become dead in that instance. So that would be the correct adjudication in this play scenario. And is it like super embarrassing? It's embarrassing, right, that we did not have, because what it does is expose that we did not have discipline on the play. We did not have rulings by both officials and coming together on the play. Without a primary signal, we would say. So the Blarge scenario, it happens. We just have to own that as a crew. If we want to do things correctly by rule in this situation, we need to rule it a double foul, score the goal, recognize that the goal was scored as well, and resume at the point of interruption would be a non-designated spot throw in to the opponent on the end line. That is the way it is. All right, at the start of the show, we had a You Make the Call play. Is this a backcourt violation or not? No call on the play. What do you have? Let's take a look at play number 1. All right, we have a defensive player clearly jump with front court status, catch the ball in the air, and land with a foot on the division line. There was no call on this play. What was your ruling on this play? What are all the things that we have to be aware of here? Let's take a look at the play, right? So we have a player jump with front court status. Let's take a look. The ball has backcourt status. Ball is still in team control by black team in this situation. The defensive player jumps from her front court. She has front court status relative to her team, catches the ball in the air, and lands with a foot on the division line. The division line is part of the backcourt. Is this not a backcourt violation? Is there some exception to the rule that makes this legal? Right? And that's the key here on this play is we know that there's a throw-in exception, right? But the throw-in exception is not actually a throw-in exception. There's an exception to the rule during a throw-in, during a jump ball, and while on defense that allows a player to jump from their front court, catch the ball in the air, and make a normal landing with backcourt status. And it doesn't matter which foot lands first. If her foot had landed in the front court and then in the backcourt then in the front court, both feet simultaneously, she would have backcourt status, or this would be a legal play by rule because of the rules exception that exists. So the correct ruling in this instance was no backcourt violation. As we see, the player does move that pivot foot slightly. Possible travel violation if you had that in your ruling. But this is a legal play by rule because of the rules exception. If this was a front court pass from her teammate and she jumped and caught the ball in this situation, of course, that would be something different. But thanks for playing along with play number 1. You Make the Call. Appreciate everybody joining today. All right, the backcourt exception on that play. Let's now take a look at a bonus play from Utah. Final seconds of the game. Let's take a look. All right. So what we have on this play is the clock fails to start properly, does not start until the ball actually passes through the goal. How would we handle this situation? Was an error made? Was the correct ruling ultimately correct that this goal will score, etc.? And let's look at the habits and fundamentals of the crew on this play. Of course, in end of game situations, the clock starting and the clock stopping are critical, and having clock awareness, right, on made baskets, timeout requests, all of the things. We need to have that discipline as a crew, 3-person crew. Usually you have a situation where one official does not have any primary matchup that they need to be focused on and can be aware of clocks in this situation. So let's look at all of the things here. I've had my tech team, my elite tech team, put an overlay here that would reflect what the accurate timing of the play should have been. Right? We've got 2 officials on this play with a hand up. Why do we have a hand up? Why do we drop our hand? It's important to recognize what we're doing by doing these things. We're not just doing things arbitrarily. We are signaling to the timer to start the clock. When you analyze your own game video, you can look and say, am I signaling to the timer to start the clock? In a situation like this, we want to be super accurate with our indication and help the timer to be accurate as well. Do we want the timer to be watching the official, watching the ball, right? Prior to this throw-in, would we have a discussion with the timer, who would be tableside here? Trail officials say, hey, on my chop, right? Just a reminder, let's be great here, right? End of game situation, etc. And yet we have no indication to start the clock, right? As the lead official, do we have an indication to start the clock? Are we precise? Right? That's what I would say. We want our habits and fundamentals to come through in key moments of the game, right? If we just relax our hand down, we're doing a disservice in this instance, to me, to my way of thinking. So we have a situation. Now it's like, wait a minute, I see the clocks. Wait a minute. What can we do in this situation? Let's go back to our original scenario. Right, so we have 2 officials marking or ready to indicate to the timer to start the clock. If the timer was watching the official, they would not start the clock properly here. Ultimately, we drop. The clock does not start until after that. The ball goes in the basket. What is the correct way to handle this situation? Will this goal count? National Federation of High School Basketball level, we have no ability to make clock adjustments without definitive knowledge. What is our definitive knowledge, and when do we have it on this play? If we are the trail official and we don't recognize the clock is not properly started until this point, would we stop the clock in that situation? No, we have no reason to stop the clock. When could we make corrections on this play? Let's say in this same scenario, we are the lead official here, and we see down at the other end of the court that the clock started in this situation. What would we do? The clock started before the ball was touched inbounds. What would we do? We would blow our whistle and go back to the point of the original throw-in and administer the throw-in again with 2.0. Because we have definitive knowledge it should be 2.0, and the clock started early. Okay? Let's, though, say we get to here, or let's say we get to here, and now we see that the clock has not started. What should we do in that situation? That's where the real challenge lies in this play to me. Do we stop this action? Do we have definitive knowledge about what the count should be? This is a challenging moment because there's no counts. Could we have a subtle count as an off-ball official in this play? Did I, in my recent playoff game, have a subtle count in an end of quarter situation that was critical, where, we couldn't necessarily trust that the clock would start properly so I could have definitive knowledge? Possibly. But in the end, on this play, the ball was released within the 2 seconds. Nobody was unduly harmed in this situation. A lot of energy, I guess, occurred in this game. Focus on the timer making a terrible mistake here. Did the timer make a terrible mistake? Did our crew make mistakes with our discipline, habits, and fundamentals on the play? And of course, when we analyze our game video, even if this was just the end of a first period in a preseason game, right? We want to just start developing our habits and fundamentals so that when we get to the big game, we are refined. We have habits and fundamentals in place to keep us from misadjudicating plays, right? In this instance, it's very difficult, puts a lot of pressure on the crew. Would we, if we recognize the clock failed to start, would we stop play, which would put the white team at a severe disadvantage, right? Do we, or would we have to go with, like, let's say we went in this situation, we are the lead official, let's say, and we recognize right here at this point, I glance at the clock and I see that the clock hasn't moved. And I blow my whistle right here. And I'm taking a shot away from white, but we're recognizing that a timing error has occurred and that we need to fix it. What would we do in that situation? We have no definitive knowledge, if we did that, whether to take time off of the clock. We have 2.0 on the clock. It should be white ball. White had team control. It should be a throw in at the spot to where they are possessing the ball. But we have no ability in that instance because we don't have definitive knowledge of time to take off the clock. Have we disadvantaged white in that situation? Oh, it's messy, messy business. What would a takeaway be from me? Talk to your table crew prior to the throw-in. Focus on being really good, having crew awareness. Let's make sure we've discussed this, absolutely. Clock starting, clock stopping, end of game situations. Let's be great, have high awareness, etc. Tough situation, but in this situation, the team that scored was not disadvantaged by the timing error on the play. All right, let's move on to another bonus play. Wow, quite a situation on this play. 0.3 seconds remaining. The team is trailing by 2. That's my understanding on this play. Throw-in pass is released. Player goes up, catches the basketball, releases a try, but is fouled before the end of quarter signal, which in this instance would be the lights on the backboard ahead of any horn that sounded. That's what we have on this play. How would we properly adjudicate this play? 0.3 seconds, player catches the ball. Isn't the game over? Can the foul be ruled in this instance? How do we handle this situation? This is a unique situation and one that we want to get right. How many officials are going to get this play adjudication correct at the high school level? I would say a very, very, very small percentage. Let's look at the play on its face. right? We're disregarding the, what are you doing? Oh. Does this player catch the basketball? It would appear that they do. They are fouled prior to the end of quarter signal. If the foul occurred after the signal, what would we have on this play? And what's the correct adjudication here? We have challenges here, right? This is a situation where 0.3 is remaining. We know by rule a player may not catch and release a try for goal in this situation. When the player catches the basketball, doesn't that end the period? No, it does not. A foul can occur in the interval between when they caught the ball and released the try. But is it considered a try in this situation? By rule, it is not, because the player cannot catch and release a try in that period. NFHS has that case play, you know, that one that covers this very unique situation. The player's foul will be penalized, but it is not a try for goal by rule. So if the team was not in the bonus, they would have an end line throw-in, except time had expired. Would we put time back on the clock if this foul occurred at 0.1? Do we have any definitive knowledge that allows us to do that? No. So whatever we do in this situation is going to be done with 0 on the clock and the lane cleared if there's any resulting free throws. This is not a shooting foul. They will not be awarded 2 free throws related to shooting the basketball in this situation. The correct adjudication would be to go to bonus free throws if they were merited. If it was 1-1, they would be allowed a first, and if that was successful, they would be allowed a second. And the result of that second free throw would determine whether it would be overtime. Remember, this was a 2-point game. My understanding is the officials did not count the goal in this situation. That would be the correct adjudication. And they did award 2 free throws. I have no details in this situation about whether they were bonus free throws or they were related to the shooting foul. But the player who was, and I don't know whether they filled the lane or not, but the player missed the first free throw and made the second free throw, right? Which means that we didn't quite get this play correct. By rule in NFHS, time has expired. The foul has occurred prior to the horn. If there are bonus merited free throws, they would be attempted with the lane cleared. If the first free throw is successful, we would have a second free throw. If the first free throw was unsuccessful, even if there was a merited free throw to follow, the game would be over, since the merited free throw would have no impact on the result of the game. So this is that case play come to life. The case play that says in this situation, the player is fouled before the horn, but it is not a shooting foul by rule. When you see the case play, it seems like, oh, that can never happen. And then here it is. It comes to life, and we love it. We love to see case plays come to life. Makes us recognize that in our own game, we need to be prepared to adjudicate plays that may be extremely non-intuitive. This is a great play for us to look at. And with that, thanks for joining us today for 5 Play Friday. Much appreciated. You know I would appreciate if you would do all of the things, hitting the like and the subscribe. Don't forget the notify bell as well. And do allow me a moment to thank those who fuel our broadcast, our tremendous show supporters, Jason Mays, Bill Brand, Richard Masterson, Jeffrey Jorgensen, and Gene Boglin. Much appreciated and much love. Yes, of course there'll be a link. It's down in the show description. And of course, wait a minute. Of course there's one up above. Indeed, we have for you, what do we have? Additional video action. There's a video here that you'll enjoy. There's a video here that you'll enjoy. Make a choice. Choose wisely. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.